The Departments of Justice and Homeland Security will hold a briefing this afternoon with House lawmakers on the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump. Before that, the agencies will brief senators. Investigators still have not identified the gunman's motive, and this happens as investigations into the Secret Service are being conducted by Homeland Security and the FBI. CBS News has obtained new video showing snipers on the roof behind Trump before the gunman started shooting. CBS News correspondent Charlie DeMar is on the ground for us in Butler, Pennsylvania, following the investigation. Charlie, what's the latest?
Well, one of the biggest questions that we have is what happened with Donald Trump once he left the rally here. We've all seen the images of Donald Trump being surrounded by Secret Service, whisked off the stage. He was taken to Butler Memorial Hospital, but we still have a lot of questions from the doctors, his medical team that treated him here. We still haven't heard from them about the extent of the injuries, how he was treated, what treatment that he was given. And today there is video circulating online from people who were inside the emergency room as Donald Trump and all of that law enforcement arrived at the hospital. Obviously, to their surprise, quite a commotion at the hospital. A pretty dramatic moment as people in the hospital saw the president, who had just been shot in his ear, walk in.
And Charlie, analysis of video footage and mapping imagery by CBS News found that there was a tree between the sniper team over Trump's right shoulder and the shooter, and that possibly impaired the sniper team's line of sight. Explain more about what we're looking at here.
And from that analysis from CBS News' reporting, we've all seen that image of the sniper on the right side of former President Donald Trump. We are told that he did not take that fatal shot of the 20-year-old shooter. And the analysis of that video shows that there was a tree in between his shots. So he did not have a clean shot. It was snipers on the other side of former President Donald Trump who took that fatal shot. But initially, they were directed in a different way, so they had to reorient themselves before they were able to take that fatal shot.
And then there are still more questions about the Secret Service, and the Department of Homeland Security's Inspector General has opened a probe into the Secret Service's decision-making. Charlie, how many investigations are now taking place, and how might they impact policy?
There are a lot of investigations, more as the days go on. Of course, President Biden called for that independent review of the Secret Service and how this was able to happen. Next week, lawmakers will have a chance to grill the director of the Secret Service, Kim Cheadle. And earlier on Fox News, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, called for an investigation into the Secret Service, also called for Director Cheadle to step down and resign from her post.
All right. And of course, there is one man, Corey Competor, who did not make it, and two others who were severely wounded there in Butler County. We're thinking of all of them and their families. Charlie, thank you.